The wind howled through Eldoria's cobbled streets, carrying with it the scent of rain-soaked stone. Emily Carter, a young journalist with unrelenting curiosity, sat at her desk in the Eldoria Gazette. The rhythmic tapping of rain against the window was almost hypnotic, but her mind churned restlessly. She had grown weary of mundane assignments and yearned for a real story, one that would challenge her and cement her place among Eldoria's great reporters. Her eyes scanned the latest edition of the Gazette, and a bold headline seized her attention. Local historian vanishes without a trace. Beneath the title was a picture of Silas Blackwood, a man with a piercing gaze and a reputation for eccentricity. He had dedicated his life to unraveling the mysteries of the veiled Clocktower, a looming structure at the heart of Eldoria that seemed to hold the city in its unyielding grip. The Clocktower was an enigma, perpetually shrouded in dark cloth that billowed ominously in the wind. Legends swirled around its creation and purpose, feeding both fascination and fear among the townsfolk. Some whispered that it marked a boundary between the mortal world and something far darker, while others claimed it was a monument to Eldoria's forgotten history. Emily felt a chill run down her spine as she stared at the photograph of Blackwood. His disappearance was the kind of mystery she'd been waiting for. The Gazette had only offered a brief report, hinting that Blackwood was last seen near the Clocktower, clutching a leather-bound journal and muttering to himself about secrets time would reveal. "Emily, you've been staring at that headline for the past 5 minutes," came the familiar voice of her editor, Mr. Grayson. He leaned against her desk, arms crossed. "Thinking of chasing ghosts again?" "Not ghosts, Mr. Grayson. A story," Emily replied, her tone resolute. "Silas Blackwood didn't just vanish into thin air. There's something about that Clocktower. I can feel it." Mr. Grayson sighed, rubbing his temple. "Just don't get yourself into trouble. You're one of the best we've got, but I've seen what obsession with that Clocktower does to people." Emily gave him a small, determined smile. "Don't worry, sir. I'll be careful." Determined, she grabbed her coat and notebook, her heart racing with anticipation and unease. The rain greeted her as she stepped onto the slick streets of Eldoria. The gas lamps cast a hazy glow, their light struggling against the encroaching darkness. Above it all, the Clocktower loomed, its shadows stretching across the city like a silent warning. As she approached the towering structure, a shopkeeper standing under an awning called out to her, "Miss Carter, heading to the Clocktower?" Emily paused, startled. "That obvious, Mr. Latham?" she asked, her tone light. "You've got that look in your eye," Mr. Latham said with a chuckle that quickly turned serious. "Be careful. That place, it's not right. People see things, hear things." Emily tightened her grip on her notebook. "Thanks for the warning. I'll keep my wits about me." She set her sights on the Clocktower once more. If Blackwood had found something worth vanishing for, Emily intended to uncover it. But as she approached the towering structure, the weight of its presence settled over her, and a question whispered in her mind. What secrets lie hidden beneath the shadow of the clock? She felt excited before she felt any pain. The world around her blurred, the rain-soaked streets vanishing into a swirling darkness. Her last memory was of the Clocktower looming above, its shadow seeming to pulse with an ominous energy. When Emily awoke, the sharp scent of antiseptic filled her nose, and she found herself lying in a narrow hospital bed. A nurse adjusted the IV drip by her side, her face a mixture of relief and concern. You're awake, Miss Carter, the nurse said softly. You gave everyone quite a fright. Emily winced as she tried to sit up, her head pounding. What happened? She asked, her voice hoarse. A shopkeeper heard a loud crash and rushed to find you unconscious near the clock tower, the nurse explained. It seems you hit your head. You're lucky, just a minor wound, a few stitches and some rest, and you'll be good as new. Emily reached up and felt the bandage on her temple. How long have I been here? Only a few hours, the nurse replied. The doctor wants you to finish this IV before you go home. Thank you, Emily murmured, her mind already racing. Whatever had happened at the clock tower wasn't just an accident. She was certain there was more to uncover. Later that evening, Emily stepped out of the hospital, the crisp night air starkly contrasting the sterile warmth inside. She clutched her notebook tightly, her resolve stronger than ever. The clock tower had almost claimed her once, but she wouldn't let fear deter her. If anything, her brush with danger had only fueled her determination. It's time to start again, she whispered to herself, her gaze fixed on the distant silhouette of the clock tower. This time, she'll be ready.